Hi, my name is Brianna, and I'm almost 18 years old now. I want to share my story because the truth is, no one else wants to hear me out. Maybe I'm just trying to connect with someone, anyone, but really I have no other choice. No one else will talk to me. Things haven't always been that bad, though. I actually used to be the most popular girl in school. Everybody loved me. Not only my friends, but my teachers too. I never knew what it felt like to be alone before. You might wonder, why did everyone like me so much? Well, it's because I used to be really nice to everyone. Although my life looked great for some, it was far from perfect. My problem started with my own family. You see, my mother and my father gave me all of their attention growing up. They would always say, "There is something special about you, Brianna," which kind of pissed off my sister Chloe. We didn't really get along, to be honest. I always had the feeling that she didn't really want to talk to me much. She preferred to live in her own little world with her books and her games. But one day, everything changed. She started hanging around with me more, and it was like she wanted to become my friend after all these years. After a while, our relationship changed so fast. One minute, we were practically strangers, and the next, I was surprised by how amazing my little sister was. I found out that Chloe was actually a really interesting and funny girl, and we had so much in common. She sounded just like me. She walked like me, and we both had the same fashion sense. People began asking us if we were twins, which would always make us laugh. But then it took a turn for the worse. I soon realized that Chloe was mean to others, and I didn't really like that. My friends didn't like it either, and I can't blame them really. My parents felt the same way too sometimes. They used to tell her, "You should be nicer, like your sister." I didn't worry too much about it though. I wanted to believe that one day Chloe would change or grow out of her mean behavior. But I never imagined my sister would turn into a horrible monster. This is how it happened. One Friday night, my friends invited me to a party. I got all dressed up and I was so excited, but then Chloe came in looking upset. She asked me where I was going. When I told her, she asked if she could come with me. I thought it was a bad idea because Chloe didn't fit in with my group of friends very well, and they didn't really like her. But I didn't want to be mean. I thought I could stay with her for most of the night and stop her from being nasty. So I said she could come. It was such a mistake. On our way to the party, I tried to talk to her as nicely as possible to tell her that soon she'd have to try and find her own friends. And then she said something I never expected. She replied, "Why should I find new friends when I have yours?" And I thought she was just being a little naive. I didn't truly understand what she meant then, but now I do. I walked into the party with high hopes, and I wasn't disappointed. The party was crazy. As soon as we arrived, a group of my friends came to me and took me from Chloe. We had such a great time, and I tried to keep my best to keep an eye on my little sister, but whenever I looked over at her, I noticed that Chloe did nothing but give me the stink eye. Then the night got crazier and crazier. My sister came to me and gave me a drink. When I brought it to my lips, I realized it smelled of alcohol. I frowned at Chloe, but she just said, "It's okay if we drink 1 cup together, right, sister? After all, it's a party." I looked around and realized that everyone else was drinking, so I gave in. That's where my memories get hazy. As the night went on, I remember I started to feel worse and worse. The light was a blur, and I remember hearing Chloe's voice telling me, "Just 1 more cup," over and over. I don't even remember how I got back home. The next morning, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. My head was spinning and my stomach felt awful, but the worst thing was that I had to be at school in an hour. I stumbled into the bathroom and took a bath to try and calm down. On the way to school, I began to feel better. But at school, there was an even bigger surprise waiting for me. Can you try to imagine how it feels to be the most popular person at school and then wake up one morning and everyone suddenly hates you? Sounds awful, right? Well, that was how I felt when I got to school. On a normal day, when I walked into school, I was met with high fives, hugs, inside jokes. Now, there was nothing. Nothing at all. All eyes around me were staring at me, and no one was waving back at me. I realized everyone was avoiding me. I saw my best friend Natalie and called her name, but she just looked at me angrily and then walked away. I was shocked. I didn't understand what was going on. I tried to send Natalie a message through WhatsApp, but I was shocked when I found out that she'd blocked me. It didn't make any sense. I opened my Instagram and my feed was pretty empty. I looked at my page and saw my followers had been cut in half overnight. What the heck had happened? I tried to message Natalie, but I couldn't find her page. I then tried searching a ton of my friends, almost everyone from school, and not a single person came up. It was a nightmare. Wake up, Brianna, wake up, I told myself, but I never woke up. This was my new reality. I began to search for answers. Clearly, it wasn't just Natalie who was upset with me. It was so many people. Why had they all blocked me? Was there something wrong with the app? Or had someone messed with my account? But no, what happened was so much bigger than that because I also found that everyone blocked me on Facebook and Twitter. I suddenly felt really small. Why? I kept asking myself. My whole body was shaking when one of the meanest girls in school came up to me and said in a nasty voice, "How do you feel now that you've turned from a school princess to a nobody? Everybody hates you. You're so racist. I hope what you did yesterday was worth it." My shaky hands dropped my phone in shock. I watched in horror as the screen smashed and it flickered off. Oh my God, it was broken. I ran up to another friend of mine named Kaylee and asked her what the heck was going on. Kaylee slammed her locker on my face. "Don't act like you don't know. It won't help." She spat and then she scoffed off her shoulder and left. The world around me was a blur and I felt like I was going to cry. Then it hit me. I had done something last night while I was drinking. But how had I done something to this many people? How was that even possible? What happened to me was totally shocking. But the biggest shock ever was when I saw Chloe walking down the hallway wearing my clothes and meeting up with my friends. She even started whispering, laughing, and looking at me. I tried to talk to her, but she completely blanked me. The day passed in a blur. I felt so ashamed and angry. It was like I was burning from the inside. When Chloe got home, she started to talk to me like nothing had happened. I asked her why she ignored me in school today. She looked at me for a while and then said that she ignored me because she was so ashamed of what I did yesterday. I cried and cried, tears falling down my cheeks. What did I do yesterday? I don't remember. I told her. She laughed. "Maybe this will help," was all she said before she showed me the video that caused all this. In the video, I watched as my drunk self started talking about my friends in a rude way, imitating them and calling them mean names. The things I said sounded so racist. What was wrong with me? I didn't believe what I saw. This could not be me. Even deep down inside of me, I'm not that evil. But how could I argue with proof like that? After I found out about the video, the days passed painfully. I went to school each day to be shoved by a different person, picked last in class, and made fun of by someone I used to be cooler than. One day, my principal called me into his office. I felt a wave of relief. He was going to make this stop, surely. He was going to get my side of the story and help stop the bullying. Instead, he showed me page after page of things that I had supposedly posted about the school. Horrible, threatening things. I couldn't believe my eyes. I started to tear up. I tried to explain to him that I didn't post anything on Facebook recently. I told him that my phone was broken and that I hadn't been on my computer at all in the last day. But the principal didn't believe me. He called my mom and told her everything. I was suspended. And my mom, like everyone else, believed all the lies. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go home anymore. So I sat in a nearby park. I couldn't believe that I would ever say such bad things. Was I a bad person deep down? I didn't even know I had ever thought those things about my friends. All I had were my friends. Without them, I felt empty. I was looking at the grass when Bradley, a guy from school, approached me. He didn't look angry or upset. Actually, he looked happy for some strange reason. He told me he'd been looking for me everywhere. I looked at him beyond confused. Bradley and I had rarely talked before. As if that wasn't weird enough, he put his arm around me. He told me he had always wanted to be with me, and he was relieved I felt the same way. I didn't understand. I had never told Bradley I wanted to be with him. To be honest, Bradley was a cute guy, but he was definitely not my type. He told me our conversation last night had meant the world to him. I froze. Our conversation last night? My phone had been broken for days. I hadn't dared go online since the first day in case people were mean to me. I asked if he was sure I messaged him last night. He showed me the messages from my Facebook to his, and there they were, all from last night. Relief, confusion, and anger flooded my body all at once. I was so happy that it clearly hadn't been me doing these horrible things. It was someone who was logged into my accounts, pretending to be me. But who could possibly do such a thing? I grabbed his hand and took his phone away. I tried to tell him that whoever was chatting with him yesterday was not me. I didn't confess to him my love to him, and I never will do. I tried to be as nice to him as I could, but he felt that I was playing with his feelings. He looked with anger and said, "Everything that your sister said about you was true. You are the meanest girl I have ever seen." Then he left without looking behind him. I felt so sorry for him, but it wasn't my fault. Then I realized what he'd said. Everything that your sister said about you was true. Those words repeated in my head over and over again. I realized that my sister must have done all this to me. All the evidence pointed to Chloe. But why? I kept asking myself how this happened. Was it my fault? Was Chloe that angry at me? I didn't even know my sister? Now things seem to make more sense. It was Chloe who was with me that night at the party. It was Chloe who wanted me to drink. She must be the person who filmed the video and shared it with everyone. But I couldn't understand the reason. I thought we were close. I even tried to help her make friends, but I never imagined she would end up stealing my friends. I finally went home later that day, and I found her sitting on the couch chatting with my friends. She knew immediately from the look on my face that I had figured out everything. I asked her, "Why did you do this to me?" The tears in my eyes flowed like a waterfall. I told her that she had ruined my life and asked her if she wanted everyone to hate me. Chloe started sobbing almost instantly. She said that it was not about what she wanted, but what I deserved. She said that me and my so-called amazing personality were destroying her life. She felt like she was living her life under my shadow, that even my mom and dad were telling her to act more like me. Chloe confessed that the night of the party, she asked me to mimic the way that she usually talks about my friends, and then she filmed it and shared the video with everyone, so that they would think I was talking about them like that. Chloe wanted to see my perfect life crumble in front of everyone. She told me that she wanted to be the one who was loved by everyone instead of me. She even admitted that she didn't feel sorry for me or even regret anything that she did. At that moment, however, I felt really sorry for her. What she had done was horrible and wrong, and nothing could excuse it. "You're so ungrateful! What is wrong with you?" I screamed. Chloe didn't even flinch. She was so immature. Eventually, I had to do something about the video that was posted. So I made a deal with my sister. I told her to make an apology video, or I was going to make a video that exposed what she did. Of course, she had no other choice, and she ended up recording a video apologizing and telling the truth, and soon enough, it went viral around my school. Slowly, things started getting back to normal. My friends welcomed me back, the principal gave me an apology, my parents stopped comparing me to my sister, and they treated us in the same way. My life was my own again, but with added bonuses. The experience was a rough one, but I'm thankful that we got through it. In the end, kinda just felt sorry for Chloe. Oh yeah, and I learned that I should never drink again. Have you ever been in a situation like this one where you didn't realize what life was really like for the people around you? Tell us in the comments section below, and don't be afraid to like and subscribe to our channel.